Hi, everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday webinar. I am Liz Downing, Senior Marketing Manager of Events and Partnerships at Takeometrics. Speaking of partnerships, I've got my friend Rob here. He's the CEO and founder of VideoFresh. Say hi, Rob.
Hey, hi. How's everybody doing?
We're going to talk about video, how it can help you elevate your Amazon business, the stuff that Rob has been doing with different brands to get more eyes onto products, and we will be taking questions throughout this session. So just pop your question in the question section of GoToWebinar, and I will queue it up with Rob. We didn't do slides because we're just going to talk through some good best practices, talk through some statistics, and then we'll be sending out in the replay notes the recording, because this session is in fact being recorded, and we'll also send out this wonderful ebook that Rob put together and a couple other things. So without further ado, grab your popcorn or your water, make sure you stay hydrated. We're together for the next 58 minutes. So let's get started. Rob, why don't you start a little bit about telling me about VideoFresh? We did this wonderful teaser video at Amazon Unboxed, and it never made the light of day. So we'll probably send that to you guys too. But tell me how you sort of focused in on e-commerce businesses for your business.
Yeah, and yeah, at VideoFresh, we are an end-to-end video production company for e-commerce brands, and the Amazon, the Amazon world really kind of found us, a number of years ago, and so we perked our ears up and said, well, it seems like a lot of people are needing content, and of course that is continuing to accelerate. And so we have really just made it a point to, be the best resource for sellers that we possibly can in terms of getting them the right videos, quick, easy, painless, low friction, and trying to be that thought leader for those best practices as well. So that's what we're up to.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how video is converting in the listings that you've worked on, the A+ content you worked on, the storefront you worked. So let's start with product videos, and then let's go a little bit into videos for storefront, and then we'll talk a little bit about videos for ads, and then I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about videos for off Amazon to drive traffic to Amazon. So that's a lot. Starting at the very beginning, let's just talk about product videos.
Product videos. Okay, so product videos, I assume you mean like product detail page videos that are on the your product listing. So this is a big opportunity for sellers because, believe it or not, here we are in 2022, almost 2023, and so many listings. Our research has shown the vast majority of products listed on Amazon do not have a product detail page video, because video content takes time and resources to make one, and especially if you've kind of had a product maybe up, even before PDP videos were kind of the norm, maybe you think, oh, maybe there's kind of some of that inertia of like, well, do I really need to go out of my way to put a video up on the page? But here's some of the stats. Amazon just came out in their Seller University. They're now declaring that just having a PDP video can increase conversions by 9.7%, like just having a video. So that's from Amazon Seller University. That is significant. And then I don't know if some of you guys know Stephen Pope. Do you know Stephen Pope, Liz? Yeah, he's ran his own experiments of like just having a PDP video. He's seen conversion rates increase by 25%. So that's kind of where those brackets come from in our ebook. But this makes sense because a product detail page video. So 80% of customers say they prefer to learn about a product through a video rather than text, rather than rather than images or anything like that. And there's a bunch of reasons why there's things a video can do that other mediums cannot do.
And to the fact that so many shoppers, so many people like video content better than they like anything, and people don't like to read anymore. So with the whole TikTok age, Instagram Reels, all that kind of stuff that we'll get into later, people want recipes that way. They want all the content. I mean, I know so many contractors that when they want to learn how to do something, they watch a YouTube video rather than reading an instruction manual.
That's right. And all of us are kind of like this because videos are passive, right? They're kind of spoon fed to you. You kind of sit back, press play and relax and let the content kind of come at you instead of like, if you're reading text or kind of scrolling through images, that's a lot more active. So there's a reason that we do like to watch videos more than other mediums. And also, of course, you have the audio component of video, which I think is probably the most underrated aspect of video content, is also the audio, which of course not everyone watches with audio, but the ability to convey music. There's an emotional aspect to music that you can convey through a video that nothing else has. There's also just the dialogue, and again, the fact that the imagery is coming at you, right? That the text is being spoon fed to you. And also you can demonstrate. So here, let's go through just so we can all kind of appreciate what a video can do that nothing else can do, right?
That was my next question. Like, what are the different types of PDP videos people can put on their listings?
Yeah, well, that's a great question too. So we kind of so let's talk about. Let me start with kind of some of the things that you want to be demonstrating in a video on your PDP, and let me back up even from that and talk. Let's talk about let's spend a second to even just think about the customer psychology once they're on your listing, and this is going to be very different from an ad. So on an ad, they are scrolling, they're looking for something, they're scrolling, and if they see your video ad, they once you've got their attention, they've clicked, now they're on your PDP, now they're on your product listing, they are proactively interested in your product. So when they watch your video, it's less about like trying to sort of catch them off guard, stop the scroll. It's like they're actually wanting to learn about your product. So one of the most important things for a PDP video, you don't have to kind of beat around the bush. You don't need a ton of like you want to get right into the info. And you know your product better than anyone else. You know your customers. So you know what that information is that they're really hoping to find about your product. Like, what are the biggest objections? What are the biggest, kind of pain points? What are the hot things that really get your customers excited about your product? Hopefully you have some of that insights. You want to really get to that right away in your PDP video. You don't want to, be too fancy and kind of beat around the bush too much, right? So that's one thing about PDP. And then there's a number of things too that whatever style, the style of this really needs to be downstream, because it's like, what are the different types of PDP videos? Well, in my opinion, there's really only kind of one type, which is be really informative, be really engaging. Now, like how you do that, what the style is, all of that should be downstream from the insights you have about your audience. Here's a bunch of things that a video can do better than other things. These are things that you should think about. I'm sorry for my cough, by the way. I'm going to try to hold it together. I'm not sick. So here's some things you should think about with your PDP video. You need to, if your product is something that people kind of use, right? So it's not like your product's not, an artificial house plant. Your product is like a can opener or something that needs to be used. Demonstrating the use of the product is one of the most powerful things that can get someone to buy, because they understand how the product works, especially if you have a product that has some interesting or unique functionality to it. Really important to like show that in the video so people go, I get it, right? People don't buy what they don't understand. So it's all about them understanding. The other thing is overview of all the products and all the features and all the functionality. Make sure it's all in there, and then tie that functionality to benefits. So every functionality that a product has a corresponding benefit. Make sure it's feature benefit, feature benefit, feature benefit, so people go, oh, I get how that works and also why that matters. Show off the quality of your product, show off the texture of your product. Like, make sure people understand the size of your product. Maybe if weight is a consideration, the weight of your product. This is actually kind of a funny one. Like, how does your product sound, right? That's an interesting aspect, and sometimes that's actually relevant to the product. But also, even if it's not even 100% relevant to the product, that's just another level of understanding that your customers are going to have if they can hear your product too. And I think that's kind of something that, depending on the product, can be a really effective tactic.
That's a whole nother webinar, is the use of sound and video. You look at these TikToks that are about cooking and the sound of the knife going through something. There's that whole ASMR thing that goes on. So if you can make a pleasing sound with your product, plop it down on a table or whatever, or like it's a grater, and you had a grater in that that ebook you put together. But yeah,
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, and since we're talking about PDP videos right now, your customers are most likely to listen to sound probably on a PDP, not so much ads. Also may or may not be on social media, depending on you know, which one. Now, if it's more like a story, yeah, we'll get to like social media and off Amazon stuff too. But yeah, like PDP, like you've got max attention once your customer's on the PDP, because they are proactively like, I hope this is the product for me. Is this the product for me? Let me find out. So it's your chance to get straight to the point and make a big impact. So. And I can move on to lots of other stuff too. Oh, gosh, okay. Can I talk about more benefits, or are we getting questions?
Actually, somebody asked what happened to my Beatles Let It Be art in the background. They're over there. They're still up. I moved, so I decided on a more neutral background that everybody thinks is fake. But thanks, Stephen, for noticing that. But they're still here. Don't worry. I look at them every day. Kim asked, what's the optimum view time for Amazon product videos? And I think we can get into statistics like that, but you do have best practices in terms of the length of video for a PDP, right?
Yeah. So PDP is a little more loose in terms of time, a lot more loose than like an ad, because ads actually are a lot more boxed in, you know, 15 to 30 seconds for an Amazon sponsored, you know, video. But so the best way to, for some reason, length is like the one of the top questions we get on a daily basis, and it makes sense because you're trying to kind of size up the scope of the project and how much time. Here's my philosophy on length. Okay, so I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth and you'll see why. So on one hand, shorter is better because people's attention spans are shorter. We hear that all the time, but all of us have watched like an hour-long video or sometimes a 3-hour-long thing because it was really, really interesting to us. That is a massive win because you're now earning mind share. You're now like holding the attention of your customer. If you can hold the attention of your customer for 3 hours, why wouldn't you do that? You're just like, that's a massive mind share win. That being said, it's extremely hard to be interesting for a long period of time. So these are the two forces on either end of this. Most PDP videos end up being about 90 seconds. I would say don't try to hit a certain length on your PDP. Just try to, on your PDP video, just try to be as like to the point as possible. Try to be as compelling as possible, as engaging as possible. Hit those informational points, demonstrate the product, do what you have to do in the video, and don't let the video ever get boring. Like tighten it up, keep it moving, keep it engaging, you know, and whatever length that ends up being, just go with that. And then that is a different best practice than we'll have on the ad side that we'll get to. So,
well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but depending on the type of video, I mean, like obviously if you're doing a product rotation type of video where you're just like showing what the product looks like on all sides, then that's going to be shorter than like a features and benefits type video where you're, you know, this is the best bag in the world, or this is the best jacket in the world because look at all these pockets. And, you know, it just depends on the type of content you're creating.
it depends on the type of content. Yeah, I would say just do what the content needs to do and convey what you need to convey, and don't waste any time in doing that, and just see where that ends up. So a lot of times what we'll do on our content is we'll kind of aim for like, oh, we're producing this, you know, this 2-minute, you know, brand video, right? For a storefront video or something. Then we'll get to the editing room. We'll say, you know, this will be a more compelling, more interesting, more engaging video if we kind of crunch it down a little bit, right? So that's kind of what we do a lot of, is kind of, you know, you take out a lot of the moments where we'll almost kind of heat map the video, and like, where does it kind of feel, where does it stay really interesting, and then it kind of feels a little boring here. Let's like take out the shot, let's tighten this up. So Yeah, so, you know, but that being said, if you want a number, most BDP videos are between, you know, I would say between 60 and 90 seconds is usually where things kind of fall. So
So should we talk a little bit about like the different types of videos, or I mean, like, comment in the chat or comment on questions if you're unclear on the different types of videos you could put on your product detail page. And I'd be interested for anybody to anecdotally talk about a really great product detail page video that they saw that helped compel them towards sales, because you know, I mean, I don't think I'm alone here in that we all shop on Amazon a whole lot. But I'm old and I don't always look at the videos. I look at ingredients and size charts way more than I look at videos. But I think it's an obstinate thing about me. So,
yep.
okay, nobody raised their hand. So we are going to send out this ebook that Rob created, and it's got kind of an overview of, you know, based on low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket items, the type of videos you should consider. He's got examples in there. So we'll send that to all of you so that you can take a look and look into that content, because there's some that you can repurpose for social type ads or for other platforms. And there are some that, you know, would be sort of definitely Amazon specific.
And I do have another, so another thought came to mind related to that question of types of PDPs, so PDP videos. So it's interesting how different verticals do kind of have different, because different products have different purposes. For example, some products are very utilitarian, right? If you're buying, I don't know, like a socket wrench set, people want to be like, what's in the box? How does it work? It's very, there's no like life, it's not a lifestyle purchase, right? It's a function purpose. But if you're buying jewelry, if you're buying beauty related stuff, that is a lifestyle purchase. That is like, it makes a lot more sense to include a lot more of the lifestyle surrounding your brand in a video like that, because that's more rooted in the psychology of that purchase. So that is actually something we see is a lot of beauty brands really want the commercial, the glamour. You know, it's less about the function and more about conveying an emotion. And so that's an interesting thing to mention, is thinking about why your customers buy. Are they buying for kind of pleasure and luxury and lifestyle, or are they buying for function and, you know, we do videos for a lot of beauty brands, and then, you know, we also do a lot of videos, like we're doing a bunch of content right now for a brand that makes wall hangers and hooks and nails, you know, so different kinds of content. So you're really trying to meet the customer where they're at and really convey what it is they're actually looking for with your product. We can talk more about also the data and insights that feed into those creative decisions. We have some info on that too. So,
well, and what converts best really kind of depends on that product and the product use, the type of product it is. I guess there's probably data you could dig up, like category specific, but we didn't do that for today, but we will.
we will, yeah, and there we can definitely talk about that as well. Like what kinds of data are best to kind of bring insight to each of those pieces of a piece of content. So yeah, and so it's also interesting too, if you're, again, like if your product is more, if your product's a coaster, right? There's not a lot of people know how to use a coaster. You put it on the table and then you put a cup on the coaster, right? So it's like, but why would someone buy that coaster? Well, maybe that coaster it's more of a chic design. Maybe it's a little more of kind of an elevated, it's a fancy coaster. Oh, look at the table it's on in the video. Look at the lifestyle around the coaster. This coaster belongs on my table because this fits my taste and my vibe and my, you know, aesthetic of the way my house is designed, right? So it's like you're trying to really, you know, you have to, and again, this does take testing. You want to test a lot of different stuff, but what you want to start with really asking the right questions, and then you're testing the right set of things. So,
oh, this is a good question. How many videos do you think per product detail page for the customer and the algorithm. So the customer, how many videos will they watch? Do they drop off after watching the first video? Do you have any insights around that?
It's funny that you mentioned that. Stephen Pope, who knows what he's talking about, he says he kind of recommends just one. Like I think that having no video versus having lots of video. Now there is something interesting on this. If you scroll down the page, and Liz, maybe you're aware of where I'm going with this, but if you scroll down your page, sometimes if you only have one video, there is a place down on a lot of PDPs where there is a row of videos. And if you don't have a lot of videos, so this is where I actually say maybe more is better, even if it's customer review videos and whatever, UGC stuff, they're going to show competitor videos. Yeah.
Right, because that's the sponsored brand video, and you can slide right in on somebody else's PDP. And I don't know how many videos you have are actually going to combat that. That's just like part of it. But if people are all watching 5, you can have up to 5 videos on your product detail page. If they're watching all of those, then by the time they get down further down the page, there are now, had a comment from my friend John Casey, who works at Viral, and they deal in product review videos, I mean, like people doing, and I love that. I love looking at a listing and someone, I go down to reviews and it's like user submitted reviews where they're like, this is my unboxing video. I mean, like everybody loves an unboxing video, but when people do it, like I just got this in the mail and this is how the application works, or this is me opening a can with this can opener. This is me trying to use this mandolin without slicing my finger off. All of that's so cool. And I think we're gonna have to do a webinar about that. Maybe you and Rob can do a webinar about that too.
That'd be fun.
All the webinars. Let's do all the webinars about video. But I do think if you wear people out on videos, then they might be less likely to watch your competitors' videos. Maybe. Let's try it out.
It'd be worth testing that. Yeah, I'm not sure. But that's a great question. And yeah, I think that there's so much more to say about PDP videos. I don't know if we want to spend more time on PDP, or it's up to you.
Let's do a fun thing. So lots of times people ask specific questions about their specific category. So let's do a consult real quick. We've got automotive accessories. If you had an automotive accessories company approach you and say, what kind of videos would be most beneficial to me on my product detail page, what would you tell them?
Automotive accessories. So let's pick a specific automotive accessory. Like, are we talking like dice that hang from the mirror, or are we talking about like an actual piece of machinery or something like that? Is it like something? Let's pick dice, just to go with something, right? That is a pure automotive. Do you guys hang the dice from the mirrors? I don't know, different things that are just decorative. Okay, I don't either, but
I think probably like the automotive accessories companies that we work with are everything from like short shifters where you like switch it out and you actually put a new shifter in your car, to license plate frames, to like those little bags that you put in your car that are reusable, that are, for the trash that you have in your car, or steering wheel covers, or seat covers, or Ava, correct me if I'm lying on you.
This is great. Well, and automotive accessories is such a great category example, because literally inside of that category is like a giant spectrum of different types of videos, because you have everything from extremely utilitarian stuff to extremely kind of unnecessary fun decal stuff, or like whatever, right?
And complicated stuff too. So like if you buy a short shifter for your car and you're going to replace it yourself, then you're going to need explainer videos. You're going to need like benefits videos, like why go to the trouble of doing this? What's it going to do to the way your car drives? All that kind of stuff. But especially how you do it, would probably be the most useful thing you could put on your product detail page.
Yeah. So if it's a car accessory that's like fun, that's like a license plate frame or like whatever, right? Stickers that go on, like anything that's just kind of a fun thing. The video, that PDP video should convey, should connect that product to fun and to lifestyle and to everything that goes around that product. You also want to show off the quality of it, but it's less about, a license plate frame is a great example where it's not a utility purchase. So what is it? What kind of a purchase is that? It's a purchase that is rooted in fun and in, making your car look cool, whatever you want. So that probably is more of a lifestyle video, whereas maybe it's literally a video just about a day in the life of someone with that product. So you can do a lot more of that on a PDP when it's more of a fun product. But again, back to a trash can, like a trash bag can for the car, right? I'm a parent, I have 2 little kids. Like I can already imagine the utility of that for someone like me, where it's like there's just trash all over my car. It's like, showing that a day in the life for me, but really the form and the function and the practicality and all of the functionality of that can, and how that would make someone with my life like a lot easier. So maybe that has a little bit of lifestyle. Maybe that's like a 50-50 lifestyle and kind of more product, right? But then if you have a product that's so utility, where it's like a car, like a trickle charger for a car, right? So it's more like something like that, where it's just about what can the thing do. You don't need to tell a lifestyle story around a trickle charger, in my opinion.
Do you? I'm thinking about the example of the short shifter, and you could explain the benefits of like, how's your car going to drive better? What kind of people, I mean, like, so
Right.
lifestyle, going faster or shifting better or whatever. I mean, like, you
Excellent. Right.
could, but what's going to be
Good.
most useful for your product? When
You
it
could.
comes down to it, we've talked to a lot of people about listing optimization. And listing optimization is a really hot topic because it's not just enhancing your listing with a video. If your listing is crap and then you just slap a video on it, it's still not gonna do for
Right.
you what you need it to do. And all of the best listing optimizations, people always say, tell a story. So whether that story is, this thing is the most functional thing, although you can't say the most on Amazon, but if you communicate the message that this is a functional thing that will improve your life, like a trash bag for your car when you've got 2 kids that drop Cheerios everywhere and all the stuff that they drop everywhere, or this is a really hot, cool thing and you'll be cooler if you have it, and you communicate that message. Either way, you're telling a story of the benefit of your product. You communicate benefit first. So whatever the benefit is, focus on that. And in the absence of like really hard data on unboxing videos work best for X, explainer videos work best for X, we're still all working on that. But the best practice that we can pull out here is focus on the main key benefits of your product and then make sure your video communicates those.
100%. And yeah, and all of this is couched in the caveat of like, you really can't know for sure exactly what video is going to work the best until you do a bunch of split testing. Where the best practices comes in, that's right. And where the best practices comes in is making sure that before you start split testing, you're split testing on the most sensible stuff based on asking the right questions. So I think these 2 things definitely work together, kind of the qualitative and the quantitative. But you're right. I mean, maybe a lifestyle video around. I mean, Liquid Death has definitely done this well, where they're cans of water, but they've created this lifestyle around the water. They've created this brand and this personality. So there's definitely, I think that also lends into the brand conversation, which is a big one that I think Amazon sellers are starting to really appreciate and start to invest more into brand. That's the other thing that video content can do way better than, I would argue, any other medium, which is creating emotional connections to your product, creating a lifestyle, creating really making your viewer feel something when they watch your video that they resonate with. This is going to tie in also to things like YouTube pre-roll content, social media content, both paid and organic, storefront video content. Like there's kind of this big ecosystem where a lot of those aspects are important, but we can kind of get to that.
Well, you can feel emotions about, I mean, I can feel emotions about pretty much anything. I've got a product I use in my kitchen that I have very strong emotions about. It's called a Clever Cutter. And it's
Oh,
basically,
cool.
it's scissors, but the bottom part of it's like a little cutting board, and then there's a sharp blade on the top. And I love that thing. I bought like 3 of them just in case the blade ever got dull, but it didn't. I bought them for Christmas presents for everybody I know because I saw a video and I was like, I need that in my life. That's going to make chopping so much. I hate chopping stuff. And this just solved for that. So, I mean, you never know when you communicate the main benefit and value of your product, who's going to be like, yes, that is my #1 Christmas boutique item. Sorry, I got a little, I might do a video for
No,
you.
this is exactly, no, this is a great example. And your customer, that's why it's so important to really understand your own customers on a fundamental level, and why are they really buying your products, right? What really gets them excited about your product? It may be different than what you first intended the benefit would be, right? So it's kind of like there's those little features that become the really hot sticking points, and that stuff should just be really integrated into your content too. And I totally understand, yeah, getting having emotional connections to kitchenware. I'm sure I do too, with certain things. And I think that video, yeah, the point being, I think, and kind of to go back to the other thing, I think here's this is just a general guideline. It's not a hard and fast rule. The more that the purchase is a fun purchase versus a needs to get a job done purchase, right? Utility purchase. I would call it utility and fun. The more that it's fun, the recipe for that video should include more lifestyle and more surrounding stuff. If it's more utility, it should be more functionality, more facts, more, right? So that's kind of the general heuristic that I think people can kind of play with their own content though, but that's, kind of striking that right balance.
Aba wrote back the automotive accessories, tires, inner tubes, lug nuts, etc. So functional items.
Functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times, I'll see this, and the reason that I think this is interesting is I see this a lot where I see, as a shopper, right? I'm on an Amazon listing, and yeah, it's something like a tire, right? I don't need to see a bunch of I don't want to see lifestyle about the tire. I don't want to see cars driving around for 15 seconds before I start I want to start learning about the product. That's why I'm watching the video. So I think that that's kind of the message that I've seen, is I see a lot of sellers kind of getting too lost in the lifestyle sometimes. Or the reverse is true. It's like if it's more of not having enough fun with a video when it is a fun product, right? And you want to kind of get to that fun. So I think just having that self-awareness of what is really the psychology of your customer in that moment, and how can you really meet them where they're at. So
I'm just going to say what I would like to see in an entire video. I want to see a close-up of the tread. I want to see information that's fed in about how sturdy it is and what PSI it needs. And I want to see a shot of it running through a puddle.
Oh,
so
I like that. That's also a nice, like, slow. Oh, we have to talk about video hooks too. I've got a bunch of great hook examples, which ties especially into the ad stuff. But I could see like slow motion tire plowing through mud would be like really that would check all the good boxes for a good hook, especially for an ad, maybe for PDP too. But yeah, that slow motion, just eye candy is like extremely effective, especially when it's also rooted in something about your product, right? Not just like arbitrary eye candy, but like real relevant eye candy around the usage of your product. So
this is super fun. I'm just thinking about, so let's talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about storefront videos because they're different. And then I want to dive into ads a little bit. And then I want to talk a little bit about off Amazon. But I also want to keep doing your questions. Oh, wait, this is a really good question. Let's do this real quick. Melody asked, what type of video would you do for a health product that you ingest?
Love that. We've done a lot of those. Because a health product you ingest. Now let's take a supplement. I'm just going to make this up. Although I'd love to know exactly how you ingest this. Is it a powder that you mix? Is it a pill? You know, what is it? But obviously the ingesting of it is, if it's a pill, that's just that there's the whole, that's the whole utility. Oh, I ate the pill. So what do you do with that? You lean heavy into benefit. You lean heavy into lifestyle. You lean heavy into, you know, is this for women? Is this for men? Is this for older people? Is this for kids? Like, who's that demographic? And you kind of build that lifestyle story around it, and you show the benefits. So for example, if this is a supplement that helps you with knee pain, right? What is the benefit that it offers? Show all the different times when reducing knee pain would improve your life. You're playing tennis, you're hiking, right?
Just for reference, it's a spray or a chewable tablet.
Spray or chewable tablet. Okay. What is the would she mind sharing what kind of the benefit of some of those user benefits are?
Melody, do you want to pop in benefits?
That get real specific.
We're here to help. While we're waiting for that, let's go back to that, and then at the end we'll tackle a couple of these product specific, because we've got a couple more. So let's give 3 minutes to storefront videos.
3 minutes to storefront videos. Okay, I love storefront videos. The reason I love storefront videos is because they are brand building, and brand building is one of the biggest differentiators you have as a seller, because a lot of sellers do not build a brand. They just move product basically. So if you can build a brand, so a storefront video is the time when the storefront video is the time when you as a company get to talk about yourself. So it's actually, you get to be a little selfish with a storefront video. You get to talk about who you are and why you do what you do. So this is a very cool kind of video that will really differentiate you. So you want to talk about your brand. What does your brand believe? So you make the product you make, but there's a bigger reason. There's a way that you want your product to impact the world in a broad, poetic way, right? You want to kind of get out of the box of the product you have and into, you know, if it's a health supplement, it's like, you know, we want people to live their best life, be happy, spend time with family, like kind of all the big broad beliefs that you have and why you do what you do. You also do want to on Amazon, in my opinion, you also want to educate the viewer on the types of products you sell, because they're on your storefront to learn about the brand. So off Amazon, a lot of times brand videos will never even get around to the product, right? Like, it's just so heavy on brand. For an Amazon storefront video, which is Amazon's version of a brand video, you do want to make sure the viewer leaves with understanding, oh, this is kind of the lineup of products that they sell, because that's going to help them continue in their shopping journey. But don't be afraid to just kind of get poetic, get creative, and really capture the emotion of your brand and your brand personality with that video.
Excellent, excellent. Let's talk a little bit about video for ads, since so a couple things. Amazon recommends what, 15 to, it can be as short as 6 seconds, it can be up to 45 seconds. I don't think that we see a lot of longer than 30-second videos work really well. Their video dimensions, their file sizes that you got to follow, I can send those all to you guys in the replay notes. But what works, you know, I mean, there's some best practices, like don't start with a blank screen, that kind of stuff, but that all kind of feeds into the how good should your quality be? Should you film these on your iPhone and edit them like clumsily in YouTube before you download them and then put them up on Amazon, or should you work with a professional? You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, look, yeah, no, the quality is a big question. We'll get to the quality conversation. The the anatomy of a video is really important. The anatomy of an ad. We do have what we feel is the anatomy of a good ad. And this is backed by all the data and insights that we've worked with through the years, and also just seems to be everyone's thought leadership that there's a lot of players in the ad space, especially on Amazon. So yeah, 15 seconds. Short answer is 15 seconds is a really good ad length. Between 15 and 30 is usually best practices. We think shorter is better, and the reason is people aren't gonna spend a lot of time in a search result. Like they're gonna like they've got a whole wall of results. They're not going to spend, you don't want to bet that they're going to wait around for 30 seconds in their search results watching a video. So you really want to kind of give it to them quick. First shot should be the product, not lifestyle. First shot needs to be your product clearly depicted, while also being eye candy if you can. So that's why the tire through the mud is that's a great one. You just came up with a really good one for that, because if you have slow motion mud splattering, but you clearly see the tire, that is both eye candy and being very clear about what the product is. And you should also have text. Every frame of that, every clip of your ad should have text, because they're not going to watch with audio. And it needs to be, we think we kind of have a 5-part. Okay, so every video is, think of your 15-second ad as a tiny little funnel. Every video is a funnel. So at the beginning of the video, you want that top of funnel, catching them off guard, eye candy. They're not expecting to see your video, but there is keyword intent behind. This is what's interesting, different from a PDP and different from like a social media ad. This ad has keyword intent behind it. They are actively searching for something. That opening shot should not only be eye candy, not only speak to the product, but can you actually tie that to specific keyword intent? And this, of course, gets more into your world, Liz, but like, if you know that this is like associated with like foldable duffel bag, I don't know if that's the thing, foldable duffel bag. If that's what they typed in, they're looking for one that folds. That opening shot should be like, it's folding, or something. Like, it needs to be like, they're like, hey, there it is. That's the thing I was looking for. So it's like, you really want to make sure that's the customer psychology, is they're looking for your product, right? They're looking for it. They're like, where is it? Where is it? Ah, there it is. It's the one that folds. And look, it's also black. Like I typed in black foldable duffel bag, whatever. So that's and that's just one small part of the keyword strategy here, obviously, but that's just, think about what your customers are actually searching for. Then I would say pick the top 3 features. You probably have 10 features that you could talk about maybe for your product. Pick the top 3, because you don't have time to go into 10, and spend 5 seconds on each. Go feature benefit 1, feature benefit 2, feature benefit 3, and again on product hero shot, right? See the product in its packaging alongside the product with your brand name and text. So that's the last 3 seconds. All right, so yeah, 3 seconds. Yeah, so yeah, right, 3 seconds feature benefit, end.
Question about text. Steven asked, like generally for PDP videos, for storefront videos, for any other kind of video you use on your Amazon listing, do you want subtitles? Do people like those? People listen to stuff on mute? Like, is that something that you see working better for people, or is just a video that tells the story with no words better?
So great question. I would say this, the best combination we found is your video can have voiceover in it. So if the best thing so let's say someone's watching without sound. Well, let me start the other way. If someone's watching with sound, have a great voiceover, right, throughout the whole video. if they mute it, in my experience, the best thing is not for them to read all the subtitles of that voiceover. That's not the best text they could be reading. The best text they could be reading on top of that voiceover is just really key features and benefits language, like simple, like how few words can you have on screen to communicate those features and benefits. So I would say decouple the on-screen text from the voiceover in the ad, right? Have the voiceover in case they're watching with sound, but treat the text like its own animal, and just like how few big features and benefits words can you put up there, because people just, you're not making them read a lot. People don't want to spend a lot of time reading copy. So that would be my play.
Yeah, people don't like to read anymore, which as a writer, that makes me sad. Okay, we're gonna do an ebook. We're gonna talk a little bit more about best practices we're gonna take Rob's ebook that he already made, which is all about videos and all that other stuff. Like product detail page, the different types of videos you can put on your product detail page, best practices for that. Storefront videos, best practices for that. He's got a section on advertising. I'm going to add to that section on advertising. We're going to send all that out. I've given myself a goal of less than a month from now. So we'll get that out the door, but I will send you in the replay the existing ebook that Rob worked so hard to create. It's awesome. And some other stuff we've got. We do have some questions, so I really feel like we need to spend the last time. So we've got some general questions, and then we've got some, what about this type of product, where I think it's fun to just brainstorm. And, you know, obviously I think that for quality's sake, you should definitely use a professional to get your videos made. I know that I've seen videos and product images that were homegrown, and that does not help your listing at all. We've got savvy shoppers on Amazon. It's not the Wild West anymore. It's not 2014. So time to step it up. And there's a section in that ebook about Video Fresh's prices and their process and all that kind of stuff, you know, filming days, and they've got it structured so they can, you know, make it work for you. But we did have a question from Meg, and John, you're gonna love this. John's watching right now from Bureau. Which type of video would do well? Review-based video or product introduction video? You can't actually put review-based videos in your listing or in ads, right? I mean, like that's
not in ads, but I believe you can do well. So there's like Amazon affiliate. There's like videos that maybe can go in that listing, right? That are kind of your customers and or people that have tried it.
Yeah, I mean, I just like reviews, actual reviews, that's a whole different animal. And
right, actual reviews. Yeah, that's true.
Very heavily regulated by Amazon.
Right.
But it's still a very powerful thing to have. It's just that if you're just working with your general consumers, then you're really up you're at their mercy to create user-created content. But we are going to do some content on that. I've had enough of you ask about that I think that John, we're going to get you on here and we're going to do some content about that. So okay, so let's do a category game. So Melody asks, no, we already did Melody. We've got Kate. Kate said, what about a video for a memorial product? They're mainly gifts, so what's the best to show? And I asked, like, what type of memorial product? So it's like a keepsake, like a candle, wind chime, blanket that you buy in remembrance. So she comes to you, what would you suggest?
Yeah, again, I would kind of go back to, you know, kind of if she knows her customers and what is kind of like circumstantially what is kind of going on in their life, like around these purchases, and kind of meeting them emotionally in that place. So kind of, you know, I'm kind of using my imagination here a little bit with like what that might be. But if hypothetically, if this is like something around, so if it's memorial, is that like there's been a death or something like
Yeah,
something
I
to that
think
effect?
so, probably. So I
Yeah.
know that like, when my uncle passed, we got this blanket that's got like a Bible verse and his name on it. So like, Kate, if I'm totally off base, tell me. But if it, a candle, wind chime, a blanket, something to remind you of a person that's not here
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's an emotionally loaded product.
And you don't want to be insensitive or schmaltzy, but you
Exactly.
want to answer the question, is this an appropriate product? Is this a brand that cares about me and my loss? And you need to be very delicate though with the way you communicate that message, because you don't want to seem manipulative and you don't want to seem callous.
Right. And I could say too, like for a storefront video, for example, there's a big why around that brand, right? There's a big why to tell that it's around capturing precious memories and around the our loved ones and all of these really big life things. And I think that the coming across manipulative versus coming across authentic has everything to do with the nuance, right? People can feel authenticity. So I think that the same video can be done in a way that comes across as out of touch or emotionally manipulative, or that same video can come across really authentic. And it has to do with honestly all the little things, like it has to do with music choice, it has to do with the script, it has to do with the voiceover, the way the voiceover is read, if there's voiceover, it has to do with the moments that you craft in the video, and that these emotions are coming off, they're ringing true to people, and that all of that really stems from you as the brand actually having empathy for your customers, right? If you actually have that empathy, you're going to output something that is authentic. But I would say there's plenty of lifestyle around that. But and there's plenty of kind of making sure that the brand empathizes with you in this moment that you are searching for this product, and that the why is rooted in something that is meant for you and meant for you in this moment, and then making sure that people really understand what the products are and how it works, and if depending on any features or benefits that you can connect to it.
And I think, what is it allowed to do a voiceover? Like, I contacted this company, my dog passed away, and I was devastated. And look at his picture, it's on this blanket. Like that type of thing, with personally for me, Kate, resonates. And that somebody's talking about they were hurting, they chose your product from your brand, and they feel like that was a really nice thing to do. Like that was a really positive experience for them. So that might be an angle to like somebody else's voice, instead of like, we make you feel better about the terrible thing that's happened in your life. Having somebody say, hey, they made me feel better about that terrible thing that happened in my life. Might
Yeah,
be
I
a
would
good,
stay, I would
good angle.
steer away from any type of persuasive language in those videos. Like you don't want to do anything that's like, here's why you need to buy this today. Like I would,
And
I
George,
would I would
Bob,
just, here's the
I'm
product,
right
we
now.
empathize. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Back to Melody. We didn't actually finish Melody. Melody's got a health product that you spray or you take a chewable, and it helps you sleep better and helps reduce snoring. So to me, I mean, are we on the same page here, Rob? Because I'm thinking obnoxious snoring, and then so you think about NyQuil, like
Yeah.
the NyQuil coughing, sneezing, fever, so you can rest medicine. You've got the person, they're all stuffed up and their nose is red and they've got all the tissues and all that stuff. And then there's this picture of them sleeping angelically. You could do the same thing with sort of like a really terrible snoring situation. And then like, or the person that's sleeping in the same room as them could be sleeping peacefully because they can now. Because that, I don't know. I don't, I'm not a professional. Rob, take it away.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, hey, no, those are great ideas. I mean, and the way that we would answer so a lot of brands don't go humor. It's just not on brand for them to go humor. Other brands go humor. And so I think if humor feels like it belongs in your brand, definitely humor associated with things like snoring and other, there's other angles to play there. If it's more of kind of a sincere brand, then people just want to know that they can get relief. And so there's definitely a big story you could tell there. I would say that for Amazon ads, just get straight to get to features and benefits about what that is. On PDP, you can afford to kind of spend more time on lifestyle and spend more time on someone who like Liz said, tell a story kind of around someone in bed unable to sleep, or someone snoring keeping someone else awake, and how kind of tell that story surrounding the product. Yeah, and I'll just leave it there because I know we have like 4 minutes here on the webinar.
Yeah. So one more question about this kind of a video, and then I want to talk a little bit about social. So what about boomerang style product video? Any advice on that?
Boomerang style. So like that's like on social, right? Like Instagram, and it kind of like
perfect transition. Let's do it.
Right. Well, yeah, boomerang. Right. Boomerang style is kind of like social. Yeah, that would be like. I think that stuff works great. So okay. So yeah, on social, just do what the platform does. Just create good content. So social. Let's assume we're talking about social paid content, like social, ads that are driving traffic to your Amazon page or whatever the case may be. Yeah. I would say. Just do whatever. The objective is not to educate, right? The objective is to just pique interest. So it's just about, like, I think a boomerang is a great idea. Like, if just having some visual that just bounces back and forth, and it's just eye candy, and their products in there, and it just intrigues them enough where they go, huh, what's this product all about? And they swipe up, and then boom, they're learning about it. So you want to get, the social content. It should just be fun. They're unlike an Amazon ad. Social ads, there is no keyword intent, right? They're just mindlessly scrolling, and then stuff catches them off guard. So I would say just be as visually scroll stopping as you can possibly be with your social content. Don't worry about being too, don't worry about educating them too much. Don't worry too much about even like video quality or production value. Just like create something that would stop you, like that would really, really stop you in your tracks scrolling endlessly on TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, right? All those like vertical formats. What would actually stop you? And I think what I've noticed is a lot of times the bar for that, we go, oh, this will stop our customers in their tracks. But then if we're really honest, it wouldn't even stop ourselves. So why would we expect it to stop them? The bar is a little bit higher than we think. And you got to be okay to get a little weird, right? You get a little weird, go a little off-road, take a little risk, try a bunch of stuff out. The things that are going to work will surprise you. I would say that Amazon ads and social ads are two extremely different animals. So social ads, just grab them. They should understand kind of what the product is like categorically, but they don't need to learn anything about the product. They just need to just catch them, entertain them with something, and or inspire, right? Inspire is good too if it's kind of more of a grounded product. Like inspiration, entertainment, these are really good things to do with content. Here's my last thing for social. Next tonight when you're scrolling on social or whatever, and something gets your attention, like if something stopped you in the tracks and you're actually engaging with that content, pause and like make a record of that. Like, this caught my attention. Okay, I do this. I have a big log of, I have like a notes on my phone, like just a running, like here's just a running list of ads that actually caught my attention. You can like save the links or like screenshot it or whatever, because that gives you inspiration for later. Like here's what caught my attention. And then you kind of go, well, why did this catch my attention? What attributes of this caught my attention? And then you can start to really reverse engineer and have good ideas for you to try.
Absolutely. It's a creative process. So, Rob, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. So my homework for all of you who joined us today, thank you so much for spending an hour with us, but I'm going to send out that ebook that Rob made. I'm going to send out some information about best practices for advertising, specifically with video. I'm also going to send, I've talked about viral a couple times with my friend John Casey. And what they do is they like search all the video about your brand. So that's super helpful once you get the video created, once you're doing A/B testing, once you figure out what version you want to use. Then when you look into maximizing that investment on your video, like what do you do then? So I think we're just going to turn this into a whole series where we talk about, like, first of all, first step, figure out what you want. Second step, execute on what you want. Third step, analyze what you got. And then how do you use it another way? That's where social comes in. We're going to talk a little bit about influencers sometime in the future too, because that's something that we didn't really dip into. Can't really control what they make, but whatevs. But thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Rob, thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.